How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Spot Show podcast. This is, of course, an independent wrestling podcast with a few pit stops along the way. I, of course, am your host, Jim Minton, Dickie Wabash, and I am joined today by the Baja World Champion, the Rizzled Veteran, the 5'7" gift from heaven, Oliver Cain. Oliver, thank you for stepping up last minute and coming here on the podcast with me.
I'm going to have to get a better setup if I'm going to do all these fill-in spots. You know, if I'm the guy that does the run-in, I just hold this. I'm holding my camera like a dipshit. So hopefully
just holding your phone with the AirPods. And,
I put in the AirPods because it's usually my wife is nice enough to my kids keep it quiet for me, but it's just short notice. It's not respectable by me to constantly ask them to do that. So with the AirPods, it kind of, if they are acting wild, you don't pick it up as much. So that's why I got those in.
Exactly. Of course, Oliver is here because, give a shout out here real quick. Michael Madrox is a little, to say the least, a little under the weather. He's got some stuff going on here. So if you guys are the praying type, send your prayers to Madrox. If you're not into that, send your positive vibes. Just send your thoughts towards Madrox. He's kind of going through it right now. But
send your cash.
Hey, you know what? Whatever's going to help the brother get better. I'm not going to go into what's going on. He's posted about it. You can see all that on social media. But I will say this. There is a lot going on behind the scenes, and Michael Madrox would leave his hospital bed and pimp slap me if I let the train stop. We have got to continue chugging on down the track. You know what I mean? We're a really useful engine, just like Thomas and Friends. So we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot going on in the world of MadBash lately. You know what? This is actually a good question because for those of you that don't know, which is everyone, because I've not talked about this yet. When I was a kid, I was a massive Thomas the Tank Engine fan. And recently I have fallen back down a Thomas the Tank Engine rabbit hole on YouTube. And I've been watching all of these videos about theories and the histories and all this crazy stuff just involving Thomas the Tank Engine. There's some deep lore to this stuff, surprisingly. And I kind of got sitting back thinking, man, if we were to take all the MadBash brothers and attribute them a Thomas the Tank Engine character, who would they be? Obviously, I'm over here with the main character energy. I'm Thomas. I mean, come on. Oliver, I feel like you would probably be Gordon, because Gordon is the boastful guy that, he's boastful, but he can back it up.
Who's the one, to be mean, who's the one that's always injured? Isn't there one that's always being repaired?
I was getting there. Michael Madrox is Henry, because Henry is the one that had to get sent off to the works to get his entire hall reshaped because he was constantly sick. Who would Percy be? That's a good one. This is not where I thought this conversation would go. See,
that's the only one I remembered the other name for, so that's why I threw it out there. So,
well,
I figured knowing you, that you have thought about this, and
of course
put everything together, and
not as much as you would think.
Is Tiger the guy? Who's the guy?
So Tiger Thomas.
Sir Topham Hatt? Is he Sir
Topham Hatt?
Yes.
Well, here in the States, in our dub, he was called Sir Topham Hatt, but he's originally in the British version called the Fat Controller. So
that's not as nice.
It's not very nice at all. But so here's a funny thing. Back when I was a kid, like I said, huge fan of Thomas the Tank Engine, I assigned all of my family members Thomas the Tank Engine names. And of course, I was Thomas, main character vibes. My dad was Gordon. My brother was Henry. My cousin was James. My aunt was Percy, even though Percy is a guy character. For some reason, it's one of those characters okay, so Frieza, for example.
Yes.
How many people think Frieza is a woman? So many people. So many people. Percy to me is just a character that I associate as being a female character for some reason. And I couldn't tell you why. That's probably because like I assigned that character to my aunt when I was younger.
That's all right. My grandma reminds me of Gorilla Monsoon. That's why I have the colored shades, like my aunt and my grandma combined is like Gorilla Monsoon vibes. That's why I searched everywhere for a Gorilla Monsoon action figure. And Bobby the Brain Heenan, but as my wife called him, Bobby the Brain Neenan, because she thought it was an N, not an H.
Bobby.
So yeah, I completely get you. Some people just have that vibe.
I know. But I can't tell you how many people I've heard say Frieza and then say she. Oh my goodness. On the podcast, we have just got Hat Trick Nick has made his appearance. Shout out to Nicholas.
He can't hear you, but he's like looking for his mom. So
hell yeah.
Hat Trick Nick. He likes that nickname. He had 2 hat tricks in 4 games.
Yeah, and this is so let's talk about this. This is a bit of a through line now because we talked about it last week, and it's now public. People can see it. The highlight video that we made to hype up not only your wrestling, but it was mostly to hype up your son's hockey. So Oliver, plug it. Let's talk about a cold day in Pekin.
Cool. Yeah, I got the opportunity to have a wrestling show that the same town, Pekin, Illinois, as my son having a jamboree, and lucky enough that you came to hang out and film it for us. And I basically based my wrestling match on what he did earlier. And the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure you edited. Sorry, the wife is sneaking out of the room, so I slid around. She is in post-work comfy clothes, so that's not. She has a rep to protect. I don't. But anyway, the funny thing is you probably edited out a lot of the attacks he did because I didn't have as much offense in my match as he did in that one game where he's playing the 8U and beat the crap out of him.
Brother, there's only so much I can use. Like that was the thing is like this kid was out there aggressive, man. And there was one hit, and I think we talked about this last week that I missed specifically. And it was one of these things of where they hit one of his teammates. His teammate is down. Shout out to Hat Trick Nick. He went over and checked on the teammate to see if he was doing okay. And he just turns around and you could see the fire in this kid's eyes, and he just goes trucking across this ice because he's going to get the comeback on this kid that hurt his teammate.
Dude, he ran a hot tag the rest of the time he was out there against a team of 8-year-olds.
Yeah,
and he's 6, and he was putting them down. That little kid Harris, I found out he's 4. The one with the red helmet. So it was awesome. Like last week he had his last jamboree. We had a party last night at the ice rink. They used the glow in the dark pucks and all this stuff, and
cool. That's cool.
But the last game we had in Decatur, which was kind of awesome because that's where Nicholas grew up in the Decatur area. So he was able to go at the Civic Center where I've wrestled before multiple times, and I grew up, and that's where I saw Macho Man and Billy Jack Hayes and George the Animal Steel. Like when I was little, yeah, I'm old. But the last game, him and there's this little kid on his team named Brody, who is probably the size of what kids should be if they were my kids. Nicholas is a tall, lengthy kid. I don't know where he got it. Thank gosh. My wife's got good genetics. But him and Brody, they fed the other teammates, so everybody got a goal in their last game.
That's cool.
And they even let the team that we were playing was like Decatur 2, so they were like the youngest of the Decatur 6U team. So they even let them, after a while, they laid back and let them get some offense. And they even told our goalie to let him score a couple goals just because it was the last game of the season.
That's cool.
And
this is them just taking it upon themselves to do that.
Yeah, we told them to do it, but then they stayed with
okay. And then
we told them to do it, and they stayed with it.
Okay.
We're like, make sure. And little Henry got Little Harris, scored like 5 goals that game because they kept feeding him. And it was just,
that's good.
Everybody was celebrating, everybody was excited. After a while, we're like, let them get some offense because they were just unmatched. But the fact that they were all had each other, like especially my son and little Brody, were passing, making sure their teammates scored. They were being unselfish. They
Just
were
being bros.
celebrating.
Being
They were
bros.
bros. It's leadership qualities. It's stuff that they didn't. All we had to say is, "Hey, do this," and they did it. It wasn't like we didn't have to stay on them. They wanted to make sure their teammate. They were there. It. I was so proud. I was so proud of who they're becoming and this, that, and the other. Yeah, hockey dad is fun. I'm wearing my sleeveless Team USA jersey, and it's just I can't thank you enough for documenting that weekend in Pekin. Weekend in Pekin.
That's what we should have named it. Damn it.
The weekend in Pekin. It was nice going to that Foundry show and seeing some people I hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah.
Shout out to Yoder. That was a fun, easy match. He let me kind of, do some stuff that basically we based the match around what my son had done on the ice.
Yeah.
So to give us the shots we wanted, it was a really cool experience, a really different thing than a lot of people have done. And I feel like it was kind of a test run of what we can do in the future. And now that my older son made the high school baseball team, freshman
Shout
team,
out.
then, that gives us, I don't know, man. I appreciate everything you've done for me. And, I can sit here and talk about how great you are. And I'm sure, vice versa. And it makes us both uncomfortable, but thank you. And let's talk about something else.
Before you get too emotional. No, to kind of stay on that topic just real quick here for a minute. So the whole idea behind it is that it being the Cold Day in Pekin video is here's this dichotomy of not only is Nicholas out on the ice doing Cain out on the ice doing his thing, but here's another Cain, the father, going and doing his own thing. But it was also to see you make that switch from I got to be hockey dad to now I got to turn it on and be wrestler Oliver. Was that difficult, or was it just kind of another day at the office?
Not really. It was I've been wrestling forever. It's weird. Lately, I haven't had any anxiety during matches, and maybe it's making my matches not as good. Because
I disagree. You're at the top of your game, brother.
Well, thanks, but in my head, I'm not. But excuse me. I'll tell you what gave me anxiety was the one in Decatur. My wife got in a fight with somebody because they were talking about one of the kids on our team, and my wife was like, she looked at this lady, she's like, "That's my kid. Be aware of your surroundings." Like, and my wife is a 3rd-degree black belt, and I've fought and sparred with her a little bit, and I had to use a lot more force than I was expecting. And so I'm very so I don't sit by my wife anymore because, fight or flight kicks in, which is fight. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to fight somebody's husband because my wife don't take no shit. So
yeah,
I'd much rather be on by the ice and then if something goes down, I'll run over and take care of it. But just sitting there, it's like that put me on more edge than any time he's out there on the ice because I'm like, oh no, here we go. Because my wife don't take shit. My wife's a mama bear. She protects everybody on our team because it's 6U hockey. They're gonna hit each other. They're gonna, as long as they're not using the stick as, like I said, like an axe or a weapon. They're full padded. They got cages on. They're learning the game. A lot of it is, for some of them, is just they got no brakes yet. They get tangled on their feet, and it's nothing intentional. And my son, I think he looked at me in Decatur, and he goes, "Dad, is this a bigger team? Is this an 8U team? Because when he plays the 8 to team, he knows they get a little rougher. So then he kind of retaliates, like gives them, gives them back what they're giving out. And
yeah.
But when he's playing 6U or he's playing, a team and he just can skate with him, he'll just skate. But if it's like he wants that smoke. He don't care. And it's awesome that he has that mentality, because I'd much rather him be confident and not afraid than to be timid. That's how you get hurt. And whew, I don't know, man. My wife, that was some anxiety. So after that one game in Decatur, I'm like, I'm staying by the ice. And then I actually got to coach. Like the last game, I was helping coach. So that was kind of fun.
Cool.
That's cool. When we were telling the kids out there and celebrating. And then, dude, I could sit here and talk about being hockey dad and looking forward to being baseball dad and all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say here is you got one son's going to be playing baseball. You got one son that's a hockey player. Good things and good vibes are happening to the Cain men as of late.
The only thing I worry about is the varsity team went to Tampa. So Ben's on the freshman team. If he stays with it, they plan in a couple of years the varsity team going to Tampa again. So if I go with him, then you got to worry about Tampa Oliver. And
I'm rolling with.
Tampa Oliver is not family friendly, guys.
But no, so like I'm saying, like things are good right now, and you're not the only Cain that had some good luck come your way that sadly did not get to happen. But this is something that you want. So here's the thing: Oliver is coming on here last minute. To fill in for Madrox, of course, which I appreciate it. But we were already planning on you coming on anyway because old Uncle Oliver has a story to tell about something that is mind-blowing to me and something that was so deserving. And you were right there. And it didn't get to happen. So, Oliver, the floor is yours. Tell your story, because it's an incredible story.
I was in negotiations to work a match with Kenta. The funny thing is, we were setting it up. We were getting dates. It would have been for Destination 6. They kind of were the middleman because they got his information and they were communicating. And I was, because at first they were talking to his Chase Owens, I believe. That's a part of the Bullet Club and used to team with him. And he was like, well, his partner Kenta. And it was just the guy from D6 didn't know who he was at first. And I was like, what? I was like, I'll work for him. I'll help fund that. I don't care. There was a time, when I was coming up, people were like, don't pay to do this, don't pay to do that, don't pay to travel, But I feel like that was just them gatekeeping people, because I've known a lot of people that paid for themselves to go, to a training camp or overseas to work, and it was a great experience and it opened doors for them, or we paid to bring Austin Aries in because we wanted to work with him. Like, just, when I came up, it was frowned upon, but I also feel that was just, in a sense, gatekeeping to keep you from going out there and doing more experiences. Because what's the difference between paying for a clinic from somebody and paying to go work on a show or paying to work with somebody? But either way, so the past year or so, he'd been trying to figure dates. Then he gets the president job at, where is that? Because Noah. So then he was probably going to go back. He said he's back in Japan. So we were trying to figure it out. We were working on the week before WrestleMania, or a couple weeks before, because he's going to be back in the States because of the WrestleMania stuff. We couldn't get the dates together, which is, it is what it is. But the fact that for a good while it was in the works and we were ironing out details and there was a chance that I was going to get to step in the ring with Kenta, which, my son thinks the Kenta action figure's me. He says, this is Dad. And I was like, well, that's who Dad wanted to be, because 2007, 2008, Kenta is God tier. Like,
untouchable.
The fact is I didn't even know who he was. And then it's funny, when we went to pick up Aries from the Chi-Town Struggle ROH show to bring him to wrestle him that next night, he was wrestling Kenta. And we had no idea who Kenta was. And seeing Kenta live versus Aries blew my fucking mind. Probably my language, but it just, me and Cliff and we're like, holy this is I went, and then we found everything, you had to look at Daily Motion if you were lucky, or ordered bestos on eBay or stuff like this to get like the Nippon Cup. And it was just Kenta, it would have been such an honor. And it probably, I don't know. And we were joking around about, calling the show, good night, Mr. Cain, because go to sleep. And it had been, in fact, when I put the thing about who I wanted to work with, the first letter of each of the names spelled out Kenta. And I even used one of his ROH theme song, or no, the song he used in Noah when he was the GHC light heavyweight champion.
I was on the phone with you as you were, because it was that time of year where everyone was constructing their here's who I want to work this year list. And you and I are on the phone going, okay, I need someone with a K. Okay. In could be Nick Diamond. That's cool. Who do we put for A? It was just really funny.
Did I put Aaron Williams for A?
Aaron Williams for A, I think. Yeah. Well,
no.
Maybe. You never know. Maybe that can happen.
Maybe we'll get back to that. But yeah, no, it was awesome just to have that feeling of, holy crap, this is something I never thought would happen. And if you would have told me when I started, or I guess a couple years in, because I started in 2004, 2005, around there. If you would have told me, in 2009, hey, you'll get a chance to work Kenta, it won't be till this, then I'd be like, oh, it's all worth it. It would, everything I've done in my career would have been worth it just for that match, because that's who he was to. I mean, I'm never going to get to work with AJ Styles, because AJ brought me back to the thing. I'm never going to get to work with like Eddie. He passed away, what I mean? Like, but to have that, one of the guys that you idolized, and hell, I used to do the go to sleep until Punk did it on TV. And I was like, oh, can't do that shit anymore. Because back in my day, if someone did it on TV, you stopped doing it. Now that doesn't happen anymore. Now people just have fed movesets. When it's not, we usually would only do fed movesets for charity shows or stuff like that, because we knew we're just trying to pop the crowd. But I don't know.
So here's the thing that here's a conversation that you and I have had separately, and it's a really, really cool philosophy that you have, of where it's like, you're not bummed out that it didn't happen, because you are just riding the high of the fact that it almost did happen. And the fact that you're able to do that with a lot of different aspects of your life is really cool to me.
I mean, you get that. I mean, for 6 to 8 months while we were working it out, trying to figure, because his schedule, when he went back to Japan and took over, as the president of NOAH, and, you realize some of these guys are so jam-packed with bookings, but just to have that opportunity, it was, you get to have that. You get to have those moments of just, holy crap, is this going to happen? And you share it with Inner Circle.
I think I was the first person to find out, right?
Yeah, other than the wife.
Of course. Yeah.
Or, other than, obviously Chris at Destination 6. I love those guys so much, because he was the one that was like, getting a hold of him. And, and who knows, maybe it still happens, but if the fact that I was so close and we were working on it, even trying to finalize it, who knows? I mean, it was just, to me, it was to ride that high, just to, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I tried to explain to my wife, but she's not really into celebrity type or thing. I'd be like, it'd be like you being a law clerk for Ruth, Bader Ginsburg or something. She's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, she goes, I understand, but I don't understand, because her mind's not wired that way. But just having that and thinking, oh my gosh. And then at the same time, you're like, holy shit, I have to get myself ready for this, because if I'm not at my peak, and, being 42, that's a double-edged sword, because I'd be getting in a real groove of getting my cardio and all this stuff. And then I push myself too hard and my body's like, brother, we're 42.
And we have these conversations all the time. Like you'll call me and you'll be like, dude, I don't know. Cause you had, it was your shoulder gave you trouble there for a while, right?
And then I blew my calf out.
Yeah. Your calf is okay. So your calf is what I'm referring to here.
Yeah.
So you blow your calf out and you call me and you're like, dude, I don't know if I actually hurt something or if this is just, I'm 42 and this is normal. And then come to find out you actually did hurt something, but you're
thank God now. It was just a strain, and after a couple of weeks, I elevated, I was wearing compression, it's just, you have wear and tear, and thank God I've only had to have, I fractured an ankle once and that heals on its own. And the rotator cuff surgery. Other than that, I don't know, man. It's just made me you have to be smarter, because when you're younger, you can just be like, kick it into the fifth gear to get yourself ready. And you can't do that because your body just with the wear and tear when you're not on anything, I tried, I'm on peptides right now. That's about it. But it's made me like reevaluate, and it made me really kind of start from scratch, and I'm feeling better. I'm feeling, today I did 12 and a half minutes at the end of my workout on the stepper, like fat burner wise, to try to.
So funny story about that. I call you yesterday and you're like heavy breathing as I'm on the phone with you. And I'm like, brother, are you working out right now? And you're like, yeah, I'm on the stepper. I'm about done. It was just like, Oliver, what the fuck? Like, you don't need to be on the phone with me right now. Like, dude, that's the thing. Like, I'm not an athlete by any stretch of the imagination. We all know this, but I'm dealing with fucking something, dude. And my left shoulder, where I don't know if it's like right on the top of my shoulder and it's just shooting down my whole arm. It's just like, I think that's just, you're talking about being 42, but it's like once you get in your mid 30s, that's kind of when it starts it's like I'm 35 in a couple of months. And it's like, I guess this is just being 35. Like weird,
The wildest shit about it though is if I completely stop and rest, it doesn't heal up as quick. So it's like weird. I got to find like a weird, am I injured or am I just hurt? And do I just got to baby it? Because I got to find that, you got to find that line, because I'll be doing the stepper and then my calves will start to, and I'm like, oh shit, is this just wore out calves? Or, because that's what happened. I thought, oh, I'm just, I pushed myself too hard and my calf went pop, and I'm like, oh fuck, did I tear something? Luckily, it was just a strain, but because I'm trying to be at my peak of what I can be, for being 42 and no zep it,
just being all natural. But well, I think that's a good time. I just want to remind everyone that, of course, this is the Spot Show podcast. Each and every week, my friends and I get together and we talk about the wacky world of independent wrestling and everything in between. If you like what we're doing here, you can, of course, go on over to patreon.com/MadBash Studios. There you're going to get early and ad-free content on everything that we do. That is the best way, rather, to keep the microphones on and the envelopes full. If you don't have the money that you can give us, that I understand completely. There are still many free ways that you can support us. You can, of course, go to madbashstudios.com. There you'll find links to Facebook, YouTube, all of our social media. Go give us a like on Facebook. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Go to your favorite podcasting platform. Leave us a 5-star written review. Go check out we've started posting reels now and shorts on YouTube. And I got to say, they are doing incredibly well. So if you are discovering the podcast from the shorts on YouTube or the reels on Facebook, hey, welcome. This is what we're all about here. Some plug skis and upcoming dates real quick. I can finally publicly say it, and we're going to get into a deeper conversation about it on the back end of the ads here. April 25th, MadBash Wrestling proudly presents Event Horizon. You are going to see some of your favorite MadBash Wrestling superstars making their way to Marshall, Illinois, American Legion Post 90, Clark County. You're going to have more information about that available here soon. If you're listening to this on Thursday when this goes live to the public, starting tomorrow, we are going to start dropping talent announcements. And you know what? I'm going to sequence break here. I'm going to make an official announcement. Oliver Cain is going to be in the building for MadBash Wrestling Event Horizon. The Baja World Championship will be on the line. Who's his opponent going to be? Stay tuned to Facebook or the podcast, and we'll get to that very soon. But listen, here's the thing. For those of you that are listening to us on your standard podcasting platform, you are now about to hear a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Venom Energy. Hey, we've all been there, and there's nothing wrong with admitting to it. Well, what I mean is that we've all hit that midday slump, and we all need a little push to get us through the rest of the day. Well, what better option to give you a pick-me-up than one of the wonderful flavors of Venom Energy? Venom is what gets MadBash through those long show days, and we know that it can do the same for you. I'm going to sweeten the pot a little bit for you, too. Yeah, come to our merch table when you see us at a show, and with the purchase of a MadBash Wrestling sticker or magnet, you get a Venom Energy drink on us. While supplies last, of course, so you better act quick. We'd like to thank Venom again for sponsoring this episode. Please consume responsibly. Not recommended for children under 18, pregnant or nursing women, or people sensitive to caffeine. So, one of the things about MadBash Wrestling as of late is that there's been a lot going on behind the scenes. And I want to walk everyone through what exactly has been going on, because we have had to keep some sealed lips, and it has been very hard when you come on a podcast for about an hour to an hour and a half every week to not let something slip up. So Oliver has been along for this entire journey of this next step of MadBash Wrestling. The key players in all of this, shout out to the brother Michael Madrox, again, feeling better. He's been one of the key players. Oliver has been one of the key players in helping me, just like calming me down more than anything, because it is stressful to put together a wrestling show. And Oliver has been Oliver, I'll know what to do. Like, calm down. So in that regard, in that regard, thank you. You have been an incredible help. And then of course, me being the control freak that I am, it's a good and a bad thing, worrying about this stuff. So yeah, I'm over here talking about the next episode.
I'm trying to
get my hat straight, but
there.
No, like this is where I'm going to sing your praises here real quick, is that it's like, because this has been something that has been worked on for a bit here, and you have been some of the best moral support that I can have with building this show. And that is, you can't put a price tag on that. You can't put a price tag on that. You are someone that said that I will never look at you and say that I'm your mentor, but if you want to call me your mentor, then go right ahead. You've been my mentor throughout this entire thing, and the help that you have given me just in that emotional support side of things, always grateful for that. But so yeah, April 25th, man, MadBash Wrestling Event Horizon. This is our first standalone show, meaning that we have we're not teaming with another company. We're not relying on another company for anything else. This is MadBash Wrestling from the very start. And I got to tell you, the stuff that I have got cooking for this show. I wish that I could start talking about it, but we can't give away all the secrets just yet. There is going to be some really fun stuff coming out about who you're going to see on this show, some of the matches you're going to see on this show, some of the more information about this show. It's scary, but it is also one of the most exciting times in MadBash Studios / wrestling right now. Mm-hmm. I got to tell you, it has been an absolute stressful time, but it's a good kind of stressful. The thing that people don't really tell you when you're going to be running a wrestling show is you got to figure out more than just wrestlers, brother.
Yeah.
Who's your ring crew?
Yes.
Who's your ring crew? Who's your referees? Who's going to be running your sound? Who's your ring announcer? Who's this going to be? Who's commentary going to be? Because I think that I can officially make the announcement now. I will be stepping back from commentary. I'm now Booker Dickey. I'm going to be wearing that hat. I am going to be wearing that hat. Not saying that I will never do commentary ever again, but I'm saying, what is so funny?
Did you realize what you said? Not friend Dickey, but Booker Dickey, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to be Booker Dickey from here on out.
I'm not. We'll talk about it after the show.
Yeah.
I think you made a joke to pop me, and if you did the way you did it, it popped me. And if you don't realize you made a joke, then I'll tell you what the joke that you inadvertently made that popped me. You called yourself Booker Dickey or Promoter Dickey, maybe, because
Hey, for those of you that pay $10 on the Patreon, you'll see House Show and you'll hear me and Oliver talk about what the reference was. No, it's one of those things of where when we left EPW, we were talking about we got big things on the horizon, which pun intended, Event Horizon. We've got other opportunities that we're going to follow. And some people figured it out. I think some people knew that that's what we were going to be doing moving forward. And congratulations, you figured it out. It really probably wasn't that hard to figure out that like this is the next logical step for MadBash Wrestling. All the props in the world to everyone that has gotten us to this point. I want to give a shout out to Elite Pro Wrestling. I want to give a shout out to Hybrid Championship Wrestling. And I want to give a shout out to New Version Wrestling. Of course, all Vermilion Wrestling and Signal 10 Wrestling, every company that we have worked with to this point to get us here.
IWAU allowing you to.
How could I forget IWOW? Yeah.
Just it's been, a work in progress. You were trying to find a way to make things. And I was like, take it slow, get the rhythm. That way you can knock some of these kinks out before you dive headfirst. Because a lot of guys will just be like, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to be that, I'm going to do that, blah, blah, that. And before they know it, they're like, they owe $18,000 and they're in the debt and they don't have a place to store their ring. And then they lose their passion. And then around tax season, they sell their ring back. I saw what you wanted to do with this, and I wanted you to kind of, like I said, work the kinks out. That way, when you decided to do your own show, or maybe you did it and you're like, you know what, it's not work. I don't want to do my own show. I just want to keep paying for matches or doing these joint shows. That way, you don't lose 10 grand on a ring. You don't lose all this stuff because, I care about you. You're a friend of mine, and I know that it's a lot more of a task than a lot of people realize to get a wrestling promotion off the ground, a good one. And and I wanted you to, and that's why I said I wanted you to come to shows, and that's why I took you to Armbar. I wanted you to see how these professional, like real professional places handle structure of the show, the backstage, the setup, all these things. So it gives you something to strive for. It gives you something to, replicate to put towards your ideas, what you're like, okay, this is how professionalism should be. And that's not me trying to, I'm not hating on any other Fed. It's just when we went to Armbar is on a different level because Armbar has the legacy of Ohio, which comes from HWA. It comes from, Revolver has that because these are the same guys that come from there's places in St. Louis from Harley School that people were offshoots. So they saw how you ran shows in a certain way. Here's the hard cam. Here's, what's my time? Is it curtain to curtain? Is it, when the bell rings? These are all these different things that people spend money in, and it separates. But it's good to see different levels of things. Not saying that there's anything wrong with the other stuff, but
no, I know exactly what you're saying. I understand exactly what you're saying. Here's the thing about and I will say this, like I thanked those companies specifically, but there's probably a couple others that I could thank. Here's the thing. Every company that I have been to, I'm studying, I'm observing, I'm seeing what to do, what not to do. I have learned something from every company that I have been to in my 13 years of doing wrestling. And that's what I want to do, is apply that to MadBash Wrestling moving forward. And when we put on Event Horizon, we can cherry pick from, I learned this here, this here, this from there. Yes. And you create this cocktail of an incredible wrestling show.
Yeah, I was using Armbar because that, to me, the whole package is a different level. The fact that
I will say this,
they sell out in a building that
is beautiful.
It's beautiful and it's not cheap, and they make money on it. Because they wouldn't be doing it if they didn't make money on it.
I will say this about Armbar Pro. If you guys are not following what they're doing, you need to wake up. Yeah. Because I walked into that venue and I saw their setup, and I saw the card, and I saw who was on the card, and I'm sitting back thinking, oh my God. Like, the problem is, though, and I know one show not even under his belt yet, Dickie is going to sit here and talk about some problems that he sees. I think what happens is people walk into these bigger production indies and they want to start on that level.
Yes.
And you can't do that. You have to start at the bottom and work your way up. Point blank. Starting at the bottom for us was doing a joint show with New Version Wrestling to dip my toes in the water of like, okay, I've got a budget, I've got to pay for guys, I've got to do all of this. Now we take it to the macro level.
And also the good thing about like some of the places, like even going to Destination 6, which is a great, setup and a great product. All these places are great products, and they're all around for a reason. Yeah. But the good thing about it is, like, we'll just say, like, some of the places you rode with me to, is if you had any questions, you could ask them, and they were forthcoming with knowledge. It's like they want you to succeed. Don't run on their date. And we're Illinois. We're not in Ohio. We're not competing with them. But they want you to succeed as much as you want them to succeed. And, establishing relationships of certain guys that are going to be coming in the future that are the highest of high quality, and kind of bringing back to where they can bring the kids that they're training. And it can be like a breeding ground of we're not trying to compete with an AAW. We're not trying to compete with an Armbar. We're not trying to compete with a GCW, something like that. We're not trying to compete with these places that are,
I don't want to compete with anyone. I want to be on my own island.
We just want to have a fun show that talented guys can know that they can have a chill locker room. Learn, bring their green kids or their trainees that will get looked after, helped out, and like I said, a chill locker room, you're going to get paid. and you don't have to deal with the drama that usually comes with amateur wrestling. No, independent wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like, I think you just said it incredibly right there, is that it's like, it kind of ties in, like we both essentially just said the same thing, but different paths of saying it. You can't start with this huge production value, and you also can't look at the big whale over here while you're still a little fish and be like, I'm going to compete with them, I'm going to take them down. No, you can't do that. Like, where I am going to be running, the closest company to us is a half hour away. There's two of them that are going to be about a half hour away, and that's fair. And I'm one of these guys. Let's work together, guys. Let's all work together. Let's make a good environment, so that, if, knock wood, and hope, I would never try to go and try to do this, of where it's like, hey, say we're running the same day, we're only a half hour away. Here's what I'm going to do. Your main event, if he wants to come work for me, first half of my show, do I want to do that? No. But if it comes to that, then you know that you can trust these guys to be like, yeah, we got quality people that we can pull from a talent pool or something.
I don't know. Me personally, I'd rather just not work on the same night. Like, try to comment,
what
are you
saying,
working? Let's work a different day.
Yeah, I guess
I'm not a big fan of the double shot, because I've been involved with, how many times have we been on the shows, and the guys who double shot get there late, or we have to move around matches.
Maybe to say run on the same night was a misspeak of like, but hey, I'm running this Saturday, are you running this Sunday? Or are you running this Friday, this Thursday, whatever?
Yeah.
And I think that's really more of what I think. My words just kind of got ahead of me on that one. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm nervous. I want to throw up. I want to scream for joy and cry, because it's like, oh my God. Like, I think that I finally found my fit in wrestling, and that's to be not the guy in charge, because that sounds like I have an ego and like I got to be the guy in charge. But no, to be the behind the scenes guy that's putting together the show, the high level production guy, I guess would be a good way to put it. But yeah, man, it's exciting. It's exciting. And like I said, Oliver has really helped me pump the brakes on a lot of things, because I was probably going to make this mistake. There was a Reddit post that I saw about 2 months ago, and it was like, how do independent wrestling companies make money? And everyone was on there like, that's the trick. They don't. And it's like, well, then how do they sustain? And it's like, I mean, to each their own. I think whatever works for one promoter isn't going to work for another promoter, but the problem is, yeah, I mean, that probably will help, but I think, like, I got on there and I'm like, at the end of the day, you got to listen to your fans, because some of these people are going to want to bring in this person because they've got a name and they're going to draw me money. But are they going to draw you money? And it's like, I'm not poo-pooing people that do that. It's like, if it works for you, then go right ahead. Yeah. But the people don't care about that. The people just want to see good wrestling. Good wrestling. And that's where it's scary, is because where we're running, there has never been a show before. There's been shows in the town, but years ago. But this is the first time in this building. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. I'm curious to see how it plays out.
But you got a great relationship with the guy.
Already do. Already.
And he's already, excited, and he's going to put the word out, and and that's going to trickle through the town, and, putting on fun, simple shows that is going to draw, like, the trick really is not to do dumb shit. because if you limit the dumb shit, you limit the chance of burning the people out or doing something that's going to cost you the building, because you never know who's in the audience. You never know, one guy might like it, but then another person on the board of this building is like, what the hell are you doing? Why did this person do this? You got to be very smart with who you bring in.
Yeah.
You got to be very smart with what is allowed to be done, because wrestlers are their own worst enemies. And as a wrestler myself, wrestlers don't give two shits about doing something that a promoter is going to cost them the building, for the most part.
We've all been there. We've all been there. I mean, I think if I would really have to,
if you've been in the business,
think about it.
You were selfish and thinking about, I want to do this spot, and you never in your mind, because until you're in charge of that stuff, it doesn't factor into your thing. You're like, I just want to do this cool spot. I just want to do this. Oh, I put a hole in the wall doing this spot. I thought it'd be cool. Whatever. I leave. I get my pay and I leave. They don't have to deal with the ramifications of what's going to happen afterwards. So you just got to find quality people. Not that people aren't, but people that understand that. Because we were all young and dumb.
Yeah. The thing that deep down scares me, and I guess we're in a therapy session now, is when you're number 2, 3, 4, you can always blame the people that are above you. But when you're number 1, you're the guy. And if something goes wrong, it's gonna fall on you. And that's scary. Like when we were working with NVW, not that I did this, but I could easily be like, well, they didn't hold up their end of the bargain and promote properly. Or, well, they didn't do this or they didn't do that.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's no one to blame but me. There's no one to blame but me now, because like we talked about it, like take his health out of it. Madrox is not, I'm MadBash Wrestling. I'm the one that runs that division. Like, he and I do MadBash Studios, but it's like, no, when it comes to MadBash Wrestling, that's me. Like I can take advice from you, from this guy, from V, from whoever every day of the week. And it's what I do with that advice. And if something goes wrong, barring a guy going out there and doing something stupid, because that's not on me. But at the end of the day, it is kind of on me, because I was the guy that booked that person and allowed them to go out there and do it.
But you know what? That's a lot different, because, even with, I've been around for a while, and some of the places that I've been a part of, or some of the places that I've worked for, you have all these people that are the chief, until you ask who the chief is, then all of a sudden they're Indians. And it's like, oh, well, I'm a booker. Okay, well, who booked this? Oh, this guy did. Okay, then you go ask this guy. Oh, the guy you just talked to was the one that booked it. Like everybody, there's the buck stops here with like legitimate places, because people are okay to take that responsibility. But, there have been plenty of places I've worked for that, you have 4 or 5 people in charge, quote unquote, in charge. And then you're trying to figure out who's in charge, and it's the what's that, 3-card money? It's a 3-card money game, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
three-card money. What is it? Is it? I always get Platoon and Full Metal Jacket mixed up. Who's in charge here? I don't know, man. Ain't you? Like I always get those 2 movies mixed up. I can't remember what movie that's from. But who's in charge here? I don't know. Ain't you?
But the fact is like I said, like I can give you advice. Other people can give you advice, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. And that's, and that's what I tell, and that's what I told you. I was like, whatever you want to do, man, this is my advice, but whatever you do, it's you. But you have to be able to say, hey, I made this decision.
Yeah. And like I said, that can be scary whenever, not that I'm not a leader, I am, but it's like I said, it's much easier to blame when you're number 4 to blame number 3, when you're number 3 to blame number 2, when you're number 2 to blame number 1, when you're number 1, Oh no, I don't have anyone to pass it off with.
A lot of people want to be number one until it's time to pay the piper. Then they're like, well, get the stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, if you make a place that is drama free, full of professionals, you got good veterans there to help out. Pay the guys the money you say you're going to pay them. People will love to work there because they're like, oh, that place is easy. I ain't got to deal with BS. I can, go out there and do what I want as long as I stay within parameters. And most guys that have been doing it for a while, or were trained by people who have legitimate, backgrounds, have no problem with parameters because that's how you learn. You think, dude, on TV, if you're going to make it on TV, you have to do, they have agents. You got to do what they say. You don't get to fucking just willy-nilly it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which I have this is a good segue into what I want to talk about on Paid Show.
Yeah.
Oliver and I love to talk about different wrestling hot takes. And I think that we get on Paid Show and we talk about some of these wrestling hot takes. I will give you a teaser and then we can get into it. You want to talk about, you got to work within the system and you got to do all this. I always talk about Matt Cardona and back whenever he was Zack Ryder and like how he got himself over with the crowd and went against the Buck and went against all of this. And it's like, well, why didn't he get a push? The fans wanted him. And it's like, probably because he showed that he can't work within the system. So maybe that's why. But we can elaborate on that more on Paid Show because I think that's a good starting point. Because I know I'm gonna tell you about Uncle Ollie over here, right? He is a walking hot take. And for those of you on the Patreon, you're gonna want to stick around for this Paid Show. I feel like it's gonna be interesting. But no, man, it's. I'll leave the conversation with this, and then we'll start to wrap up. I'm like I said, I'll repeat myself. Again, I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm feeling every single emotion that I think is possible. I go from an anxiety attack to hyper fixating to all this other stuff. And like, man, working on graphics, working on highlight videos to tease the show.
You had to like, whatever, inside baseball. We're not going to give any spoilers away, but you had to change the damn flyer like 6 times because just the amount, dude, I am hype. I'm on the show, whatever, spoiler alert. We already said that. But some of the matches that we were able to set up and even last minute, like something falls apart. So like this and that, we lucked into some good stuff, some amazing stuff. I am excited to watch.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We are starting tomorrow. We are announcing talent on the Facebook page. So by the time, and it goes through Tuesday or Wednesday, I think, of the people that, and that's not even all the people, but so by the time we come on here next week, whoever we might be, whether Oliver might be back on here, hopefully, knock wood, hopefully MadRox is back and he can do something, or maybe it's me and somebody else. But we can come on here and I can be like, all right, guys, this is what I made a joke a long time ago. This is when we had a certain sponsor that I redacted. We're not sponsored by them anymore. We had that announcement. We had the MadBash Wrestling Championship announcement. We had like 3 or 4 different announcements that were building up. And I made a joke on Facebook. I was like, MadBash Studios is becoming one giant NDA, and that is exciting. And I will say this real quick, and then you can say your thought.
Yes.
I am floored. And again, I knock on wood. I am floored that nothing in the history of MadBash Studios has ever slipped up and been talked about before it wasn't, and an embargo got broken. One time something happened. It wasn't even us. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. It was an honest mistake. Someone posted a match graphic that had a logo on it, and I'll talk about it on Page Show. I'll tell everyone who it is. And I called this guy, and I'm like, take that down, dude. You just spoiled a big announcement. He's like, sorry, amigo. You can figure it out.
I wonder who that is. let me make my Al Pacino face on that. I mean, Robert.
Oh, I wonder who that could be. But
I will tell you this, because I have seen the card of what the tentative card is right now.
Yeah.
There are 3 main events, like 3 main events and there are a couple guys that I'm waiting to hear back from that if we get those, like this is raising the bar of what you can have on an independent show for fun. There's no Urkels on this team, so our wins aren't low. You know what I'm saying? As quoting the great Kanye, there's too many Urkels on your team. That's why your wins low. No Urkels on this card, dude. This is hype. I am excited. I am excited that I'm going to get to see some people that this is just yes. Trust me, this card is you're going to want to come to the show, and I'm not saying this just because I'm on it and involved. I'm talking about like I would drive to see the show because that's.
And here's what's cool about this building too. This building is an intimate building, and it's a little bit smaller. It's but not in a bad way. I'm going to tell you right now. Like I said, I'm not starting with this in mind, but I could see us in this building evolving into PWG when they were in their small ass building and it was cram packed up against the ring. And it was like, that's the environment that's going to be, that could be fostered by this. This is very much, and this is no disrespect to the building. I love the building. I am in love with this building. This is what, and I even told the guy this, I consider this our starter building, and then we can evolve from there. But there is going to be, I'm going to throw a Hail Mary right here, and I'm going to make a claim that I'm not just saying this because it's my brand. You come to this show in April, you are going to see the start of something special. You are going to see the start of, I'm not going to say a revolution because that's a little bit too hokey, but you are going to see the next evolution, I feel like, of what independent wrestling could be. I'm stoked.
Dude.
I know all this stuff. Hang on. Let me say this real quick. I'm the one booking all this, and I know what's coming. Oliver's pep talk that he just gave got me excited. I was like, oh my God, he's right.
As someone who's on the card, I'm going to have to follow that. Or, I'm going to be on the, like, this is A+ game. You got to bring your A+ game. And it's filled with guys that can work in front of anybody. And I am excited to watch it play back because I probably won't watch it live because I'm going to be putting what I'm, working on my, but dude, like, you don't like I can't tell you, man. And this is giving these guys an opportunity to work with each other and giving these guys a chance to, bring any of the trainees to get, so it is the learning environment. I can sit here, and the hardest part is being so vague about this because if I started dropping stuff, which I'm not going to, you're going to be like, holy shit.
Like, damn it, Oliver, not yet.
And this, to be honest, like that's not even what we got in the chamber. That's not even, the people, the other people we can add to this that are ready and willing to come in. Just the dates don't line up.
And I will say this. We do intend on, this is breaking news, we do intend on running May as well. We don't have a date yet. We're going to figure that out so that we can keep the momentum rolling. But yeah, man, I feel like we need to shut ourselves up.
I got the fucking,
I know
I'm
you got that Dwayne going on.
Yeah. The adrenaline's kicking in. It's in my soul.
something Cody Rhodes. But yeah, man, I feel like we need to stop ourselves or we're going to let something slip. But Oliver, thank you for stepping up and coming on here last minute. I know you're going to roll into Paige show with me. That's going to be a fun conversation. We're gonna talk about some wrestling hot takes.
I'm gonna eat my Crunchwrap Supreme that my wife brought me. That she made her homemade Crunchwrap Supreme that's been sitting here for probably like 15 minutes now because I didn't want to start chewing on it. I can chew on it a little bit during Paige show in between.
Yeah,
but
that's what
I didn't want to do it on the.
Yeah.
You pay for that's my ASMR or whatever that.
Yeah.
Is called.
Yeah. It's okay. Jason V ate a TV dinner on Spot Show, so it is what it is. But no, Oliver, the floor is yours. I know that you've got a couple appearances coming up here. Why don't you go ahead and hit those plugs?
Sorry, I just got a message from my grandmother-in-law that just said L. That's weird. AVW, I think, is it this Sunday?
Sure.
That's gonna be way off. I don't have my calendar right. I got AVW this Sunday. I don't know what Hybrid Cain at Instagram will usually post my stuff. I can't think right now. I'm just excited, and I've been thinking about that my grandmother-in-law just threw me way the hell off because I just got an alert that said L. I'm like, what the fuck, Lou? What are we doing here?
This is the type of content that you're getting here. If you're discovering Spot Show because of our current Reels and Shorts games, welcome. You can of course find me on Instagram at DWobsEditBay, MadBash _wrestling on Instagram, MadBash Studios on Facebook. I'm telling you, go to this Facebook. We're going to start announcing talent on Friday. You're going to want to see who's on this show. Hell yeah, Oliver, for those of you on house show, you're going to get to see that. But yeah, man, all of that. For those of you on the Patreon, you can hear us on Paige show. On Paige show. But for everybody else, we will see you down the road on some form of content.